music this afternoon just feels so majestic. I don't. Welcome to the Altar Live
I'm
show.
in a winter wonderland.
Yeah,
or
I feel like I'm
something.
just skiing or tobogganing down a sled with not a care, or down a hill with not a care in the
That
world, with
sounds
only
so lovely.
exactly with hot chocolate at the end
Mm.
and a big polar bear to wrap me up in a nice big hug, because that's what polar bears do, right? I think.
Is this a Hallmark movie you're
I
talking
think
about, or
so. I
something?
think so. It's a Hallmark kids movie. It's not one of those like my husband broke up with me and left me type movies, and now Santa's
Oh
gonna
my
come save
gosh.
my marriage thing.
Honestly, there's probably a movie with that same exact
Oh,
plot line.
I think I just spawned like 6 movies. Hey, welcome to the Altar Live show. By the way, I'm Andy.
And I'm Maeve.
Fantastic. We are so happy that you are here, sledding down a hill with us today. Sledding right towards Christmas, because I don't know if you knew this. It's the 10th. Christmas Eve is a scant 2 weeks away, which is scary for a church worker like myself. Maeve, how do you feel about Christmas Eve? Like, are you scared of it? Are you running towards it? What's the deal?
That's a loaded question, I have to say, because I'm very excited. Very excited, but there's also like a lot I need to do before then.
Oh, sure.
Emotionally, spiritually,
Mm,
physically,
mm.
just, everything. I just feel like I have to say though, I am on track with Christmas presents.
Good
I've
for
told you
you.
about this the other day, but like I am very on track. I haven't been procrastinating, which is a Christmas miracle. So I'm feeling in the gift department, I'm feeling pretty good. But
Congratulations, man.
thank you.
How far, what percentage would you say you are in your Christmas gift shopping?
I wanna say I'm, like, 80% done, which is huge for me. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because usually, like, there have been times where it's the 23rd and I'm like, "Well,
Hmm.
time for Christmas shopping."
Well, looks like
But
you
this
get
year
this
I was like,
regifted gift card I got for my birthday.
exactly, exactly. So I was like, "No more," and when I saw something that this is perfect for this person, I was like, "I'm just gonna get it." Because usually I'm like, Do they really need this?" Like, I'm very wishy-washy when it comes to shopping. I'm like, "Is this necessary?" But I've been seeing a few things and I'm like, "Nope, so and so will love that." And there we go.
I love it.
So,
I love it. You're doing
yes,
great. You
thank
know
you,
that
thank you, thank you.
you're a role model for the rest of us out there. Speaking of role models, I apparently have to be a role model for my family this year because,
Okay.
well, I put Christmas lights up on the house outside. So this has been a bone of contention, and I wanted to ask you, Maeve, but I also wanted to ask all of our Altar Live fam who is joining in with us. What are your feelings on Christmas lights decorating outside? Um,
I think Are
Go
you not
ahead.
done? Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, because I have some thoughts, but I want to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay. Well, I do like some Christmas lights. I have to say, like, my particular household is very boring. Or not boring, but like very understated. We have just the little lamps in the windows, a wreath with lights on it on the garage, and that's about it.
Okay.
Yes, very understated, classy, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, you know, big displays of lights or those like blow up snow globes you see, or like the reindeer display. I
Mm-hmm.
do like the reindeer display. I'm always excited when I see houses with reindeer display, but nothing big in my house. But I do enjoy seeing a Christmas light, display here and there. We live near this place called Longwood Gardens, which
Mm-hmm.
is very famous in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a big uh lights show. And so if you drive past it, you can see like the trees lit up
Hmm.
to promote it, and that's always really nice to see. So I'm very curious to hear what you think about
Okay.
them.
Snow. CRM, first of all, jumped in and said, we have snow, but without snow, definitely lots of lights. You're lucky that you have snow. I live in Florida. It is 82 degrees right now,
Oh,
according to my Apple Watch, which is
oof.
thumbs up. I need air conditioning in this
Oh,
hot
okay.
studio that I've been in all day. Um, so Christmas lights. I have been married for almost 8 years. We have been decorating for Christmases for almost 8 years. been great. We go all out in the house. Every inch of the house has some sort of Christmassy feel to it. Love it. A couple of years ago, when we were living in Georgia, we lived across the street, and we only were there for 1 year. But we lived across the
Mhm.
street from that guy who does all the lights that sequence to the computer and to the music and the sound.
Oh,
Yeah, and so
wow.
and it was, we lived in a cul-de-sac, and it was really super awesome, and he did it for a bunch of charities. And anyway, we, from Thanksgiving until New Year's, we had a line out the neighborhood every single night to come see this dude's Christmas lights. Yep. It got to the point where his name was Joey, and Joey's great, and then our next door neighbor
Yeah.
Sean. Both those guys were great. The Christmas light display spilled into our yard, and I finally just said, like, dude, just use our house, it's fine. So it was Joey's house, and then our house, and then Sean's house, and just all kind of in a row, right? It's great, except power bill super
Uh-oh.
sucked that week, or that year, or that
Oh
month, excuse
no.
me. And then trying to sleep with all those lights, you couldn't. We had
Mm,
blackout curtains, and we just couldn't, because it was running until like midnight every single night. So CRM says no on inflatables, and I'm
I
going with you.
agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
completely agree.
agree.
So
We live, yeah.
I'm gonna make this really short. I got really burnt out on Christmas lights on the outside of the house, and so this year my wife and my kids, they didn't demand it, because they never
Mm,
demand it, but they strongly hinted that I should put up Christmas lights outside. And I resisted, and I resisted, and I resisted, and ultimately I put Christmas lights up on the house because I love my wife and I love my children and I want them to be
yeah.
happy. But gall darn it, I it's not that I don't like looking at them, it's that I don't like them
Mhm.
on my house. I like them on everyone else's
Mm.
house. I'm not a bah humbug. I love Christmas. I love the thing. I just don't want to put them up on my house because I'm just tired of it. I'm tired of the circuits blowing, and I'm tired of having to change the light bulbs out, and I'm tired of having to get the little stupid hooks and put them in the soffit, and I'm tired of
Oh my
having to
gosh, yeah.
step back and make sure the thing is straight, and if it's not straight, you got to go back up on the ladder and pull the thing taut, and then by the time it happens, the wind blows and it falls down again. And
Mm,
then when you turn the actual lights on, half the strand works, even though the strand that you plugged in before you even hung it up worked just fine, and then the wind
mm.
starts moving and everything starts going all over the place, and everybody else thinks it's a grand old thing, and meanwhile I'm just going, this is stupid. What are we doing this for?
I
i'm
hear
not
ya.
I'm not bah humbug, seriously. I there are
No,
our neighbors.
yeah.
Our neighbors do it. The guy across the street, he when we were living there, it was awesome. It was so cool. We stood outside and we directed traffic, and we had hot chocolate with people, and it was great. But can we just not do it on my house, please? That's it.
Yeah, just get the little ones in the window,
Yep.
something like that.
I
That's
envy
so
I envy
yeah.
you with the wreaths and the candles. I think that's an end game scenario for us next year, I think, is where I'm gonna head.
Yeah, they're nice, I have to say. But it's so funny, like, my my, grandma, she has one, like, in her she's staying with my family
Hmm.
close by, and she has one in her room, and the other day, she didn't want the light in the window because it kept her up, and everyone was like, "But the windows are and gonna be uneven, you have to do it," and it
Hmm.
was just all things. So I can understand if you can't sleep with the lights, like, that's,
Yep.
that's valid, but
CRM says the latter sound always takes me back to Christmas Vacation. Yeah, and that's like, I laugh about it, and then I think, as I was doing it this year, I was taking the plug and I was plugging the thing in together, and I
oh
was
my gosh.
joy to the world, and then it worked, and I was like, oh well, this is not Christmas Vacation. But anyway, that's not. We're not here to talk about all of that today, Maeve, are we? What are we here to talk about
No,
today?
we're gonna talk about Christmas ideas for events.
For
So
events.
we are talking about the trusty online engagement Christmas guide.
Hmm.
So all of these ideas that we're going to talk about, you can find them and even more in the Christmas guide, which you can download right now. It's free. It's in the description. It's great. I had a blast writing it. And these events are very simple but effective and impactful, and you can really kind of go in as in depth as you want.
Hmm.
So it'll make sense as we talk more about the events. But just to preface, get ready, get excited.
Get pumped.
Get pumped. Yeah.
Cool. What do we got first here?
Right. Okay. So yes, as Andy said, we're talking about, um, or I said, haha, Christmas events that are
One of
perfect
us said.
for in the event space.
Right.
So this is specifically in rows and, watching something on the big screen, that space. So rows, just a refresher, are function like watch parties.
Mm.
So when you go into an event, you see a row, you can click on a seat, and then you're immediately joined into a little watch party. And that's kind of like, yeah, there you go. So if Andy clicks on, and I click on one
Yep.
too.
I clicked on one. Look at that. We're in a row.
Perfect. Woohoo! And so that's our own little pod. So during the event or during the service, we can talk to each other. We can be able to hear each other, turn our cameras on. Hi, Andy. Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, my
And
camera's.
it won't be disturbing the service.
There
So
we
you
go.
can have those little meaningful connections during the service, and you won't have to disturb anyone. This is your own little pod for your connections. You're mingling. Relationships are happening. Friendships are forming. Christmas time is here. Snowflakes all around. So excited. I wish. I keep saying I want it to snow, and my family keeps telling me to shut up because they don't want to shovel the driveway. And I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay.
no, that's bad.
But so yeah, just a refresher. This is specifically for rows. So to kick off, we're first going to talk about Secret Santa. Now
This
you
is a
all
good
are
one.
familiar. Yes, you're all familiar with Secret Santa. You probably have memories, maybe now or in your youth, buying gifts for, random people you pull out of the hat. This is a little bit different. You don't have to spend any money. We want to make this as simple but as meaningful as possible. So when you join a row or when your attendees join a row, you'll keep track of, who's in the row or who's in the little pods or even whoever's in the whole event. You can do this however you want, but you can assign someone, a person in the event with them and be like, okay, so say our church leader says, maybe your Secret Santa is Andy. And so as Andy Secret Santa, I would pray for them or send a little note of encouragement to them. So however your church communicates with each other, maybe you could give them your email, or you can leave a little, send a snail mail, who knows, or it could just be, this is someone you pray for. Maybe they might not even know who their Secret Santa is, but they just know someone in their church community is praying for them and thinking about them during this season. Because as this year comes to a close, years are just hard. This year was hard. Last year was hard. Everyone goes through something every year. And Advent can be just like a time, and Christmas time can just be a time when people, are thinking of things maybe from their past or going through something in the present. While everyone's joyful and excited for Christmas, people are still feeling sad. People are still going through things. So just to have that little reminder, that little prayer buddy, prayer Secret Santa would be a really impactful thing to know that someone in your row or someone in this virtual event that you won't necessarily see in person, like there's a real person behind that screen and they're thinking of you and they're praying for you.
I love that. I almost wonder if it couldn't work with, I mean, obviously in your rows and stuff, but I almost wonder, you could pray for them, but also it would be a good way of like later on trying to start a small group or trying to start like a prayer group or something in a room later. And I don't mean like later on in that service. I mean later on in the month, almost like our job as hosts and greeters and leaders at that point is to plant the seeds that, hey, you're not alone in your event and there's actual other people here. I just recorded a video that was talking all about the fact that our job is to make sure that people know they're not alone, because it just gets so lonely if you're just on a screen.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's a great idea, Maeve. I love that one.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like, just kind of planting that seed, like you said, over and over again, that even though you're online, there is someone on the other side of the screen who is a person and who has feelings, and you can be praying for them, or they can be praying for you. Just because we're online doesn't mean we can't be a really strong, solid community.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and that's just a really fun way. Secret Santa, I always love Secret Santa.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
That's great.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So
What's next?
next one is Christmas decoration contest, which is
You already
it's a
won this
fun
one.
one. Okay, thank you. I wanted to be festive, but I don't. This is a little too generic. I feel like people could do better than this,
Oh,
to be
totally.
honest.
Totally.
But I was thinking, but within each row, like challenge each attendee to decorate their space behind them when their cameras are on. So definitely encourage people to turn on their cameras. And this could be, for whatever service. This could be your regular Sunday service in the month of December. This could be even your Christmas Eve service. Depends on, how festive how festive you want to get. But this really could be for any day. Pick a day, and tell people, all right, guys, we're going to turn on our cameras this service. I don't care if you're in your pajamas. It's going to be a good time.
Perfect.
And you can decorate behind you and have a little contest or just a little show and tell within your row. It'll help people talk to people in the row, because sometimes, families could be sitting together, or if you're sitting with people you don't know, it would be a really good way to get to know them and be like, oh, I've never sat with you before, or oh, we sit next to each other every Sunday and yet we've never talked because we always have our cameras off. Let's chat.
That's
But
good.
I will say, though, no virtual backgrounds or store-bought
Yes.
backgrounds allowed. We
Yes.
want to be fun. We want to be festive.
Yeah.
Technically, this is not a store-bought background because it's wrapping paper. Even though I did buy that wrapping paper at the store, it's not a background.
Right.
It's wrapping paper.
Yeah, it's like
just to
no
clarify.
like Zoom backgrounds or green screens or anything
Yeah,
like that.
no,
Like
no,
go
no,
practical effect. Even I think
Yes.
my LEDs here are almost a little too much.
I could let that slide.
Oh,
But
well,
I'm
thanks.
thinking like some paper snowflakes, or if you get put your Christmas tree into frame, or one of those like mini Christmas trees, even a Santa hat. Just make fun. It's almost like your own little snow globe. I'm getting too poetic here, but it's fun.
I love it. I think it's great. I also think that this is the one that could definitely lead down the road towards more engagement in your rows. If people, it's the old icebreaker thing at youth group. It's the same exact thing of, hey, let's get them to have a little bit of fun, and that way we can engage with them a little bit later after that.
Totally. Yeah. Start with something small, fun, and festive. And, the holidays are such a good place to do that, because people are already like just in a very open mood and open spirit of, celebrating and kind of, giving and all that good stuff. All right. Next.
What else you got?
Candlelit Service.
Candlelight Service. Let's go. This is the one.
This is the one. I have to say, I do love this one, but I did chuckle as I wrote it, because you have to get over, kind of get over we're online, like, how is this going to work? Get over that, because the point is to be together and have that community and have those connections with each other, even though you're online. So if it seems cheesy, just bask in it. Bask in the cheesiness. Revel in the cheesiness, because that's what's going to make it fun, and that's what's going to make it meaningful.
Totally.
So for Candlelight Service, you know it, you love it. When you gather together in like a physical building, you'll have your candles together. So why not bring that online within your row, since you can see each other in your watch party? Turn off all your lights in your house or in your room or wherever you're watching, and hold up a candle. It can be one of those really fun like stick candles that you get in church, or any makeshift candle would work. I was thinking it would be really fun if I'm just holding a Yankee candle. nice aroma, and it works. But it can be any candle. Or it could even be one of the, if you don't want to be near fire. If you don't want to be near fire, you can just get the lamp in the window.
Yeah, or just do your phone. Just turn your flashlight on.
Form of, love that.
Yeah.
A little digital flare. But I definitely think I would definitely get a kick if I just saw a bunch of people holding their Yankee candles.
Yep. Oh gosh, I think you could win both the Christmas decoration contest and the candlelight service, even though there's no contest there. I think you'd win the contest if you just sat there with a Yankee candle like a choir boy singing Silent Night. That'd be amazing.
Oh, it's too good.
Yeah,
It would totally help, with the festive on the, your side of the screen. Not people could smell it, but you could smell a nice pine scented
totally,
peppermint aroma while
totally,
also singing Christmas hymns. What's better than that? I don't
totally.
know.
No, I agree. And I honestly, the candlelight service, this is the one that when I think traditional Christmas, I was doing a podcast a couple weeks ago and we were talking with somebody else and we were talking about this idea of the kind of the end of pretty much every traditional Christmas Eve service ends with Silent Night and candles. And as a
Mm,
worship leader or a former worship pastor, it was one of the coolest things in the world because obviously the representation of Christ being spread out like a single flame into the rest of the world. Okay, we all get that. Everybody's
mm,
singing Silent Night. Okay, it's a beautiful song. There's so much history and there's so much rich tradition with that song. But that moment is the thing that people crave for physical services. A lot of people, that's their nostalgia. And one of the things that Altar Live does really well, at least I think we're trying to do really well, is we don't necessarily say, well, we're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater in terms of tradition. Like you're either completely digital or completely not. We're trying to
mm.
actually speak into the intersection between digital and physical. It's almost the phygital. And the idea of being able to hold a candle up at your house or in a coffee house or wherever you're doing whatever you're doing. You might look a little weird at a coffee house, but whatever you're doing, and you're joining in with the congregation gathered around you, even if it's during a live stream or simulated live stream or something. That's one of those things I think that can make an imprint upon people, that can show them, hey, digital can actually work. Digital is actually a
Mhm.
way of doing church services, of gathering together as a community, and more than that, of really representing something new. CRM just busted into the chat, and obviously they said, first off, they like my background lights, so you get a gold star from me. But they also said starting new traditions, and that's exactly what this is starting a new tradition.
Yeah, totally. And as Andy said before, rows really help accomplish that because, if everyone is in on it, wants to turn off their lights, wants to participate in the Christmas decoration contest, you'll have your own row of
Mm.
people, your own pew, if you will.
This-
And you're together and you're in a watch party and you're not like separate little windows.
Yep,
You're together.
yep, I love it. This is great. This is a good one. What else you got?
Okay. This is our final one.
Okay.
Last but not least. It's a little it's going off a little bit of what we talked about last week about prayer and contemplation. Because we talked about how it could work in rooms and in tables. But what about a prayer and contemplation service
Mm.
or a play or an event where and then you can go into the tables and the rooms after to pray with people. But in the beginning, you'd go into the event hall and then you take a seat within your row. And um, on the screen, people could send in anonymous prayer requests, and there could be music in the background, and the video, like the event video, could be looping these prayer requests. Brooklyn Tabernacle, a
Mm.
church in Brooklyn, is does
Oh,
a great
really?
prayer service every yeah, funny how that is. Every Tuesday, that does a really great prayer service. So in the beginning, when you log on, there's a bunch of slides of prayer requests that people send in, and they can be as simple as pray for my sister Amanda, she's looking for a new job, or pray for my mother. You don't have to name names, but just know, like, keep those in a loop and have people thinking as they're sitting. And um, you can pray to yourself, you can pray with people in your row, but realizing that people always need prayer,
Hmm.
no matter the time. And because we're sometimes so focused on ourselves, being like, oh my gosh, I have to get all my Christmas shopping done, or oh my gosh, my family's coming, what am I gonna do? But you don't stop and realize, like, unless you know someone who's like, "Can you pray for me?" that there are so many people in the world that need specific prayer, and so you as a church can do that and honor that through a prayer service during December or even any time.
Hmm.
We're just naming this because this definitely could work during Advent, but you could do this, you know, all year round.
Hmm. And I, as a quick follow up to that, there's no real dedicated prayer button anywhere. Instead, what you have, so if other platforms like church online platforms stuff have a prayer button, and essentially all that does is just start a personal chat or a private chat with a host. In Altar Live, all you'd need to do is head to the chat area, click My Chats, and then click Add New Chat, and you'd be able to find a host and then create that and just say, "Hey, I'd like you to pray for me," and then boom, that host gets that, and then all of a sudden you are now private. This is private. This is just in the My Chats area, which is all private. It's not in the general chat. That host is now able to pray with you alongside, and so as the content creator or as the pastor or leader or whoever is on the screen, guiding people through, hopefully giving time, pauses, breaks, if there's slides or whatever needs to be happening to give people the moment to really lean into the prayer time. You as the host or greeter or leader or whoever is kind of manning the chat, you're able to jump into the private chats and say, "Hey, this is all private. This is all confidential. Nobody else sees this. How can I pray for you?" And then let the floodgates open from there.
Mm. Yeah.
Cool. Maeve, I love all of these, and I think a bunch of these actually spill into what we were talking about last week in the lobby and in the actual in rooms, and kind of the synergizing of what happens in the holiday season here. It's what happens in every other church anyway. It's what happens when you go to a physical church and you walk into the lobby and it's all decorated and people are hanging out. And then you go into the event and you've got your service and it's candles and it's prayer and it's contemplation. And then you walk out and the lobby is still there and you're talking with people. It's the same exact thing here on Altar Live, except, once you're done, you hit the X or turn your phone off or turn your tablet off or walk out of the room and there you are. And so it's very powerful. And yet I think it has the power in this Christmas season to bring a whole lot of hope.
Yeah. Yeah. That was great.
Hey,
I don't know what else to say.
No, there's nothing else to say. We do want to thank you for joining us here today. We're going to wrap up here very quickly. To everybody watching either live or on demand, you can head down to the comments to grab that Christmas, the online Christmas engagement guide. It's all down there. Use it, send it to your friends, allow them to kind of use some of those ideas too. We won't take offense if it's not for Altar Live. We do, however, ask that you keep engaging your people and you keep helping them to enjoy the Christmas season, because that's what this is all about. It's enjoying the Christmas season, leaning into the reason for the season, and understanding that we are just bit parts in the big scheme of everything that needs to happen. CRM pops in and says, "Need to get the word out to other eCam churches to watch and consider this platform." CRM,
love it.
Love it. Use an eCam, use Altar Live. It's a great success. So, Maeve, thanks so much for this amazing guide, but thanks so much for leading this discussion today. It's been really good.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. It was so much fun.
You're so welcome. Everybody else, thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure to stay tuned to all of our socials. Where are they? Right there. All of our socials, our website, everything else. We love you guys. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.